Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
On this episode of The Commercial Break.
If I found panties on the floor, I'd be excited. Yeah. I'd be like, tell me more. If I found boxer shorts on the floor,
whities,
there's
whatever.
no way to unring that bell,
yeah.
right? I mean, it's not like...
Whose are these?
Yeah, whose are these? Matthias's? Great. When did he turn 39? I present to you part 2 of this incredible story. Well written by our author here. Let's take a listen.
Okay.
This is exactly in the moment when Thad busts into the door.
Okay, yeah.
There he was, a full-size, sunburnt, coked up, sunglass-wearing human penis. Moving south, he had decided to wear the appropriate attire to this particular event. A white tank top. A white tank top with what looked to be strawberry margarita stains down the center of the shirt. I can imagine that strawberry margarita was running for its life after it saw how his jaw was chewing everything in sight.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Welcome back to another episode of The Commercial Break. I am Brian Green. This is the executive curator of The Commercial Break Archives, Kristen Joy Hoadley. Best to you, Krissy.
Best to you, Brian.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. How the hell are you? Thanks for joining us on yet another episode of this, The Commercial Break. It's not for everybody, but fact, news, or fiction is guaranteed in 1 minute or less. Or your money back guaranteed. Go to tcbpodcast.com to collect your earnings. How the hell are you?
Woo! I'm good.
That felt
Feeling
good.
good.
Yeah, I came right out of the gate with that one. I didn't even have to practice or anything. I'm starting to think about... I'm watching the morning show. Have you seen the morning show?
Of course I have, yeah.
So fucking good, man.
It is good.
Okay, I had to get through the first hour, though, because I thought the first hour was it wasn't handled correctly, I thought. I thought it was, like, poorly directed or something.
Really? Like, are you starting from the beginning?
Start from beginning.
Okay,
like, right from the beginning.
I've already been through two
Season 1, we're talking about the morning show on Apple TV with Stephen Carell and Jennifer Aniston and a bunch of other very talented actors and actresses. And it's all about
Reese
Witherspoon. That's right. And it's all about the morning show, like an ABC type morning show. It's a big deal. It's the moneymaker for the whole studio, for the whole company. And a guy and a girl, Stephen Carell and Jennifer Aniston, are heading up this morning show, much like The Commercial Break.
Much like it.
Everybody wakes up to
get their fact, news, or fiction.
Their fact, news, or fiction. Talk about pizzles and pudendas. So then Stephen Carell is taken down by the Me Too movement. He's accused of a number of bad...
Yeah, there's a scandal.
There's a scandal, a big scandal. He gets fired. That's how the whole thing starts. But I thought the way that it unfolded from a directorial standpoint didn't really excite me all that much. I was kind of like, that's kind of boring. But I stuck with it, and I am glad that I did.
Yes.
Because, man, I will tell you what, it got really fucking good. I mean, really, really
I love
good.
it.
And I forgot totally why I was talking about the morning show.
I don't know either.
Oh, because in the morning show, when Jennifer Aniston is getting ready to go on set, she's doing all these vocal exercises, these warm-ups in one of the scenes. And so I think... Similance. Just do that for another hour and a half, and you'll know what a Rush show is before Rush actually gets on stage. Fucker.
Brian had an experience with a pre-check. Rush pre-check.
Chinese water torture is what it was.
The guy just said similance for 30 minutes.
Hours on end.
It seemed like hours. I'm sure it wasn't hours.
I was not drinking or high at the time. I was completely sober.
You just sat through it?
He moved from microphone to microphone.
Why didn't you just get up and
What else was I going to do? Get up and go where?
Go get up and have a drink.
Yeah, well, the guy...
It's a Rush concert.
It wasn't a Rush concert. It was it was like we were backstage. We were there... I don't know why we were there. We were there because somebody knew somebody in the band or something. I don't know. It was something. Everybody was very nice and pleasant, but that fucking similance over and over again. I don't even know that similance is a fucking word. I know Similac is like a thing you give small children.
Pediatric thing.
Anywho, I was just thinking to myself, maybe I should start doing some of those vocal warm-ups because you and I are now getting to that level, that ABC Good Morning America level.
I mean, we're there.
We're there.
Right there.
We have tens of listeners, and most of them we know we could call on our cell phones.
I picture us as the anchor man level, the third news team that's not very good.
Oh, yeah, the third news.
I think it's Luke Wilson is part of that team. I love it when they do the newsman fight.
It's got like a
it's my favorite.
72 Toyota truck running around.
We're the gremlin.
Oh, we are the gremlin.
The gremlin
We're the gremlins.
of the podcasting.
Question for you.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. And by the way, for those of you that are waiting, and you're probably waiting patiently, it's like somebody's waiting. You're probably waiting patiently to see if our good friend who was married to Tara sent us in part 2 of the story that we told on Friday. And the answer to this, my friends, is yes. Part 2 is here. We will talk through it in just a second. I don't want to keep everybody waiting too long. But
right. They're on the edge of their car seats.
I'm on the edge of glory, waiting for TCB to shit on the microphone. Before I get to the question, I do want to say one thing that I think is very exciting news for the TCB listeners out there.
Okay.
Both of you. I wanted to...
Yeah,
both
our
of you.
one listener.
Well, one's in Canada now, too. So I think we have 3. One in Canada, 2 in the United States. Krissy and I have made an executive decision here at the commercial break, and I think it's a good one. And I think you're going to like it. Here's how it goes.
We had a creative meeting.
We had a brainstorm, a sesh. We had a brainstorm
sesh.
Yeah, hey, fucking people say that so obnoxious. Hey, you want to have a sesh? A sesh? What the fuck is a sesh? We're too lazy to say session now? You can't say sesh? Krissy and I had a sesh, and we decided, and I'm not going to say it to annoy everybody. We had a sesh, and we decided that there's too much TCB content running around the world right now, and it's hard for new listeners, some of you might be, new listeners, and it's hard for you to catch up on all the content. How in the world are you supposed to keep up with 3 episodes a week and then go in the back catalog and dig through other stuff?
And decipher which ones are worth, like plucking out of the needle in a haystack.
How are you supposed to find the proverbial funny needle in a mediocre haystack?
Yes.
And Krissy and I want to help you out with that. And that is why we have made the executive decision that starting in a couple of weeks from when this episode is now broadcasting or airing on the RSS feed. Broadcasting.
On the radio waves.
It's Friday! Everybody's working for the weekend. We have decided that we are now going to dedicate the remaining Fridays of this summer. We may continue it past that. We don't know. We'll reserve
go through
judgment.
Labor Day.
Yeah, at least through Labor Day, maybe even a little bit longer. We are going to, and I'm on vacation during that time too, so we might even go a little bit longer. We are going to find what we think are notable TCB episodes, really ones that were turning points in the commercial breaks history.
Yes, the falling on the floor laughing, at least for us.
Yeah,
ones.
the ones that the two of us find funny.
Exactly. The best of the best.
The best of the mediocre.
Yes, the best of the mediocre.
We're going to figure that out on your behalf.
And ones that could also tie in, why we reference some of the things that we do.
Okay, yeah, we might go back. We're starting to get some questions, sometimes on reviews, sometimes through the channels. We're getting questions.
Henry Fonda?
Yeah, where's Henry Fonda? How did you come up with aliens? What's this all about? You referenced that. I don't want to be a podcast that just does inside jokes because there's a lot of those out there. And I find sometimes that can be annoying, especially if you're a new listener. So we're going to help you out a little bit. It's like up on a friend
group.
Yeah.
You're at a party and you come up to a friend group.
You got to catch up with who's sleeping with who.
Yeah, and people are laughing about inside jokes.
That's right.
You don't
who's impotent, who's got the clap. You got to decipher your way through it. So Krissy and I are going to dedicate, starting in a few weeks, we're going to, and you'll know because it'll be titled this way, we're going to do BTY Fridays. Best to You Fridays.
Best to Yo Fridays.
We're going to yo it up and we're going to send you our best on Fridays. We're going to take the best of the episodes or the turning points or some reference to the commercial break that you might need to know. We're going to take those. We're going to edit it down to just the best of the episodes, so it might be a little shorter than the original. And we're going to send it out your way so you can catch up on the commercial break without actually having to dig through 224 episodes.
Just one time a week. We're going to do fresh content the other 2 days, but I thought it would just be helpful for all of our new Canadian listeners.
We have tried this experiment before. We've put together best of episodes, but I think it was a little bit different.
Episodes, yeah.
Well, we smashed a bunch of episodes together is what we did, and we made them extra long. They were like 2.5 hours long. It just wasn't good. So what we're going to do is we'll go episode by episode. We'll let you catch up. We're probably going to dig deeper in the catalog than, we're not going to replay episode number 211.
Yeah.
We'll go to 80 or 40 or, 55. So we're going to do that.
We're going to do the work for you.
We're going to do the work for you. We're going to dig it up. And then we also have to put a disclaimer on this one also, because with the good oftentimes comes the bad. And here's the not so great, but I think it will be beneficial in the long run. We're also going to start archiving some of our older, much older episodes, like episodes one.
It needs to go. I don't want that representing. I don't want someone to start at 1.
Episode number 1 is a
Please, if you're listening and you're new, don't start at 1. Do not start at 1. At least start at 10.
We should put this disclaimer at the beginning of 1.
I know. Like, what are you doing here? Stop. Turn it off. Don't start here.
Krissy, it pains me every time that I look at our statistics and I see that there's like a lot of people that are listening to episode number. Because of course you are. You go to a new podcast. You're like, oh, let me start at number 1. Yeah, what's the story on these guys? And what the story is, they can't get their microphones to work. They have shitty recording equipment, and they're not quite funny at all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's like
we were doing it remote. Bad. We just started it during the pandemic.
It was so bad,
and it's really bad.
It was so bad. It's a shining example of the.
Do you notice a drop? Like when you see the people that go and listen to it, then do you see a stark decline in subscribers?
So here's the funny thing. On Apple, they have 2 different segments of listeners. They have listeners, which is just someone that clicked play at all. And then they have engaged listeners, which means they listen to half the episode or at least 20 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. If you go and if you click on the button listeners, you'll see like, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of people, right? And then go click on engaged listeners, and that drops by at least half, if not more.
It's got to.
People they don't even give it a chance, because I wouldn't either. It's a piece of shit.
No,
it needs to go.
No, episode 1 needs to
2, 7, 12, 35.
Right, we're going to pick.
I think there's 1 we can keep in the first 100 episodes.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We'll make some executive decisions, but get to them now, because sometime around Thanksgiving, we're going to start culling the herd, and we're talking about the very early episodes, like minus 20.
Yeah, we're going to separate
people out there are probably like
from the strong.
I know. It's good, the shaft from the way, or whatever they say. There's probably new listeners out there right now. They're going, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" Who cares?
Don't go to episode 1 to find out.
Yeah, don't go to episode 1 to find out. Or if you're interested, go to 1 now, because it's not going to be there soon. Question for you.
Yes.
You have 2 choices in life, and I want you to think about this before you answer.
There's a fork in the road.
There's a fork in the road.
Okay.
Down one fork, you know everything. Everything is clear to you. Obviously this Jeff would never do this, and I'm not suggesting he would. I'm just asking a question that is running around the internet.
Here we go.
Why are we involving Jeff? That's another reason for Jeff to hate me.
Would he marry me?
Yeah, no. Would you want to know if Jeff had cheated on you? Choice number 1. Mm-hmm. Or choice number 2, you are blissfully unaware of any of those activities going on. Like blissfully unaware. Like there's no reason it would even there was no suggestion. You didn't find text messages. You didn't see panties. You didn't see panties on the bathroom floor that weren't yours.
Yeah.
It was just, I could just be blissfully unaware of everything that's going on.
Yeah, no, I want to know.
You want to know? Mm-hmm. I think that's I think that's how most people would feel.
Yeah, it's human nature.
You remember Neo?
Yeah,
that, like
from
the rapper.
Matrix?
No, not from the Matrix. From the Matrix.
Well, there is Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah, but then there's Neo, the 90s / early 2000s rapper, hip hop artist.
Yeah, that's
Neo.
right.
He was on, I can't remember which show it was, but I watched it a lot. It's that New York, he was on one of those shows, one of those morning shows. Mm-hmm. And he made the suggestion. He said that he tells everybody around him, if you see my wife on fleek, if she's out there doing whatever, don't bring it back to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm choosing happiness. That's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing to be happy. Perception is reality. You got to choose your truth in life, and this is the truth that I'm choosing. Definitely.
Well, there's 2 extremes to that, right? Like you can be super crazy about trying to find the fault.
You can be paranoid.
Or you can be blissfully unaware and just like it that way. But I'd like to think I'm somewhere down the middle. I'm a very optimistic person and like to be happy. And perception is a lot of things, but I want to know what the reality is too.
Yeah, but I kind of get the point. He's like, when you start digging around for your truth, you're already feeling some kind of way. And you can make a case. You probably can make a case if you dig hard enough to get yourself more paranoid about anything, right?
That's true.
And so he's like, I just want to choose to believe,
to live in a veil,
right? Mm-hmm. I want to choose to be happy. I want to choose not to find evidence of anything.
Well, I think they've discussed this before, is what it sounds like.
It sounds like she's
some
cheating
kind of
on
open
him.
marriage. Yeah.
It sounds
He's
like
like,
she
we've
is on
agreed. It
fleek.
sounds like we've agreed to
Yes.
this. And so if you see her out, don't tell me about it. I don't care because we've already talked about it.
It's
I'm okay
such an
with
interesting question. I think I didn't think that I would find myself.
What is your answer?
First of all, I have
If you were finding
complete.
boxer shorts on the floor.
If I found panties on the floor, I'd be excited.
yeah.
I'd be like, "Tell me more." If I found boxer shorts on the
Tidy
floor,
whities,
there's no way to
whatever.
unring that bell,
But, yeah.
right? I mean, it's not like
Whose are these?
Yeah, whose are these? Matthias's? Great. When did he turn 39? I think if it was like not obvious and blatant in my face, I can understand.
You'd be okay with it?
No, I wouldn't be okay with it. I don't say it's not about okay, but if I don't know, then of course I'm okay because I don't know.
Okay.
So it doesn't really fucking matter, does it?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I would choose to ignore it if it appeared. I am saying that it's an interesting philosophical question in general about how we perceive our world and maybe about trust. Like I implicitly trust Astrid in any situation for any
Same
reason.
with Jeff, yeah.
I would never. I've never had a reason to believe anything different.
Yep.
So if Astrid, so if someone,
But see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you did
I
have
get it.
a reason to not trust, you would be more likely to want to know.
if I did have a reason to not trust
But when
Astrid,
you're in the blissfully like trusting phase, then
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
well,
true.
then yeah, no, I trust her. But
Yeah,
like,
there's like
if
those-
you're, because we've both been in those relationships before, right? It hasn't everybody in their life.
Probably.
Where somebody cheated on them and whatever, and then
Yeah.
you're suspicious,
always.
and then you want to know.
Yeah,
So-
with Astrid, and I always had a good, healthy dose of skepticism about trust in relationships for so many different reasons. My own life experiences.
of course.
But with Astrid, for some reason, maybe it's age, maybe it's maturity, right? Maybe, they say that men, like they don't actually, their brains don't stop developing until they're like 35. That's true. There's some scientific research out there. We don't actually mature as human being, as adult
And they
human
don't
beings.
get stable, is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm stable. Please. Stable.
They don't even out until
I'm like an egg
35.
yolk on a roller coaster. Please. Come on, man. Stable.
We're all over the place before that.
But for some reason, whatever that reason may be, I have chosen trust with Astrid
course.
every single time.
And you
she-
have no reason not to
No,
trust her.
I don't. So
But if you did,
I think it's kind of a
then you
moot
kinda
point.
would know.
If I did, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a curious
Yeah,
person by nature.
well, I think curiosity is absolutely in the human nature, and so you want to know what you don't know.
Yeah. I want to know the truth. I want to get to the bottom of things. But then there's part of me, it's like, there are a lot of things in life. Life is tough. Things are shitty. The world is ugly in a lot of ways. But I
Yeah.
choose to look at it differently.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, there's so many different levels. Like if somebody canceled on me for dinner, but they lied about it, I don't care about that. I don't want to dig into that.
No.
Like why? If they're sick, they're not sick. I don't know. I don't care. You canceled. Great. It gave me a free night.
If you cancel on me,
But-
I have a private detective that
with
just
somebody
researches
that you're
those
married
events.
to, I think it's
Sure.
a little different.
If Astrid cancels dinner on me and lies to me about it,
And
I'm
says
probably
she's
going to do a
going to
little
the gym.
research. Yeah. Well, I don't let her go to the gym. Why would I let her go to the gym? That's where other boys look at her. No, that's not happening. That's where guys who
That's
actually
rule number
look
one
good
from
go.
Frankie B.
Frankie B, number 1, don't go to the
Yeah.
gym. Frankie B, number 2, don't let them have cell phones.
No, yeah, exactly.
Rule number 3, they're already cheating on you before you meet them. He's like, that guy was crazy. Hey you, thanks for tuning in to yet another episode of this, The Commercial Break. Krissy and I have some exciting news for you, the listening audience. We're turning Fridays into BTY Fridays. We're digging deep in our catalog, finding the best or most relevant episodes so you have a chance to catch up without spending more time on this ridiculous podcast. We'll take the funniest, most outrageous, or most relevant to the content we're talking about now, and we'll put it on Fridays and make it easy for you to catch up on TCB. If you have an episode you'd like to hear or a suggestion about what we should play, 661-237-8296. That's 661, the word best, the number 2, YO-YO. You can also reach us at tcbpodcast.com. Click on the Contact Us button and send us an email. Feel free to slide into our DMs at The Commercial Break on Instagram and the brand new YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Commercial Break, where we put out full episodes a couple days after they air and fresh clips tips almost every single day of the week. 661 Best to Yo at The Commercial Break on Instagram, tcbpodcast.com for all the audio and video, and youtube.com/The Commercial Break. We'd appreciate it if you'd leave us a review or a rating on your favorite podcast player. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes, and please use the specialized URLs and codes that we give when we're talking about our sponsors. Let's take a few minutes to hear from those sponsors, and then we'll be back to this episode of The Commercial Break. So, Krissy, one of the other things that's happening now, we opened up a fucking can of worms, and now all of our smart-ass listeners have decided that they want to get in on this. So, okay, all right, here's...
On the Ask Uncle Brian?
Ask Uncle Brian, Ask TCB, or...
/ tell a made-up story.
Tell a made-up story, that's correct. Who knows? We do not claim to have any, we don't know the veracity of these stories. We don't claim they're the truth because we don't know these people and we have no idea what they're telling us. But I'm going to choose trust in this moment and assume that what's being told to us is true because it's fucking funny. And so I just said something funny.
It serves our purpose.
Last Friday, a couple weeks ago, we got an email from a guy named Pete, and he explained to us a horrible situation that had happened with his erection and his mother-in-law.
Soon to be mother-in-law.
Soon to be mother-in-law.
Then the wedding was called off, and there was a whole thing.
Go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
And now, right after that, like directly after it broadcast, we got another gentleman, it seems, that has a gentleman by his own admission had sent us another story about him, his wife, and his wife's brother.
Right. They went to
Thad.
a destination wedding, and
they went to a destination
got nuts.
So let me give you a quick recap of the story. Go listen to the last Friday's episode if you would like to. The last episode. Go listen to it if you would like to hear part 1 of this story. But here's what happens. They get to this destination at the Ritz-Carlton. There is a party. That party turns a little crazy. They get some guys handing out cocaine. Thad, the author's brother-in-law, goes on an all-nighter, gets on a boat, gets on a bender, gets on a boat with another couple from the wedding who happens to be the maid of honor.
And her husband.
And her husband. So Thad is kicked out of the hotel because he's found in the jacuzzi naked with these other people, and he refuses to put any clothing on.
It's the definition of bender.
Yeah, it's the definition
it really
of bender.
is the definition of
Actually,
bender.
when you think about
Cocaine, naked, alcohol,
yeah.
everything. Yeah, a destination
wedding. It's exactly what you would expect to happen if those 5 things came into combination with each other. So what happens next is Thad is not invited to the rehearsal dinner, but some other people are. So Thad has to sit this one out because of his behavior the night before.
He's in the doghouse.
He's in the doghouse, but he decides to pop up to the bar next to where...
breaks free of the
doghouse. He invites the maid of honor and her husband back for round 2. Now, Thad has had no sleep. He's been up for 36 hours straight. They go to a bar that's next door to this Ritz-Carlton they're staying at. When they leave, when the husband, the maid of honor's husband, leaves the bar to go get his change of clothes, whatever that means. Yeah, it's all suspicious. The whole story is suspicious. But anyway, he leaves, and when he does, he leaves Thad, the author's brother-in-law, and the maid of honor alone at the bar. When he comes back, they're gone. A search party commences because everyone's worried about what has happened to these two, and they find them.
Those people want to know. They want to know the truth. Of
course, that's it. Yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. They wanted to get to the bottom of it.
They wanted to know. They were like, "Oh, they're gone." Anyways, don't tell me about it. Yeah.
We choose happiness. We choose happiness in a life without these two people because they're gone. A search party commences, and one of the wedding party gentlemen, one of the groomsmen, stumbles upon Thad, the author's brother-in-law, and the maid of honor in the dunes, nude and scared because they've just been caught in the dune nude. The nude dune.
In the nude dune.
Okay, so drama pursues.
Shit goes down from there.
Shit goes down, and now the next day is the wedding. Thad, of course, is not at the wedding. The maid of honor is at the wedding. Thad's wife is up in a hotel room because she refuses to be seen with her husband or without her husband. And the last we left our author, Thad, who was not invited to the wedding. He was disinvited. He should have been.
He busts into the reception.
He busts into the reception. The door opens, and there
Brian and I are
Thad.
Picturing smoke in the
smoke,
and
well lit. Yeah.
It's a silhouette.
Sparklers, yeah.
He's like, I'm back.
So our author wrote part 2 for us to know what the conclusion of the story is, because we were like, that's just it? Like, he just opened the door. Even though the ending of the part 1 was pretty funny, there it was. So go back and listen.
There were some questions.
I present to you part 2 of this incredible story. Well written by our author here. Let's take a listen.
Okay.
This is exactly when the moment when Thad busts into the door.
Okay, yeah.
There he was, a full-sized, sunburnt, coked up, sunglass-wearing human penis. Secretly, I had wanted this to happen all along. If we had never heard from Thad again that weekend, it would have been half a story, and I knew he had so much more to offer.
Exactly.
This guy was a miniature drug-fueled Godzilla of a man, and him showing up to the reception was the only way that this could end. It was the only way for him to achieve true glory.
Yeah, he wasn't going down with a nap in the hotel room.
No, he wasn't.
During the wedding and the reception.
He's up 48 hours now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being on a coke bender
He
for 48
might
hours?
have taken like a little nap and then busted back up.
Yeah, we don't know every minute,
like,
but yeah.
Hey, I got to get to the reception.
Yeah, but I mean, after you do 24 hours worth of cocaine, a nap is going to be hard. You're going to have to go down for a whole day, not a nap.
You are going to
know
have
what
to
I'm
go for
saying?
a whole day.
As the door literally flew open in the back of the banquet hall, in the back of the banquet hall, you could hear an audible gasp. My wife grabbed my arm so hard, I still pick out pieces of her.
And it's her brother.
Yes.
Yes. So it's her brother.
It's her brother. My wife grabbed my arm so hard, I still pick out pieces of her fake French manicure to this day. The expression on her face was more painful than the first time she gave birth. My initial instinct was to run to him and push him right back out the door.
Don't do it.
I actually tried to move out of my seat, but my wife quickly held me back down. It was one of those unspoken moments between loved ones. We telepathically communicated and told each other it was best to let him implode on his own. I have been there, brother. I mean, I haven't been there with my brother, but I've been there.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll save that one for. I'll save that one for when the microphones are off. My initial we telepathically communicated to each other it was best just to let him implode on his own, and he did not disappoint. Let me color by numbers for a minute. Imagine the lead singer from Creed at 55 years old. That's what Thad looked like, even though I think he was only 45 at the time. He honestly looked like Scott Stapp, and people would often say he looked like Scott.
He had the hair.
Yeah, he had the hair.
Yeah, he had the
I met him. I saw it, and I didn't meet him. He moved his guitar so we could sit down at an airport. Let me tell you something. Scott Stapp was also wearing a wife beater in the airport. It was crazy.
And Thad's wearing a wife beater?
When he appeared, it looked like he had dunked his hair in Crisco oil. The lights were shining so brightly off the top of his hair, I think I saw sparkles. His skin was the color of His skin was the color of a fire engine. If a fire engine was making fun of itself, he was.
Well, right, because he had been in the jacuzzi.
He had been in the jacuzzi,
butt naked. I mean, at the height of the day.
You can imagine he's probably running around the beach hitting on people like it's just. Oh my God, this is just so funny. He was so sunburned, it was painful to look at. But I should tell you that this was not out of the ordinary for him during the summer. He was in constant state of melanoma.
Oh, no. Jeez.
He was in constant state of melanoma. That's fucking...
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry, melanoma's not funny.
No.
But just the way he said it was funny.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
Constant state of melanoma. Moving from the hair down, he was wearing his Oakley sunglasses just slightly dipped below the bridge of his nose.
Like with the rainbow reflector?
Yeah, probably. With below the bridge of his nose, so when his eyebrows raised, you could see his brown eyes, or what was left of his brown eyes after his pupils had taken the coloring hostage. The guy was cranked. He was on a different level. He didn't need to say a thing or take one step forward or backward for everyone to know that no sleep had entered his body or his mind in the last 3 days.
Oh, God.
If geeked out, I felt geeked out just being in the same room. It was that kind of experience. I gotta meet this guy.
I know.
His jaw was literally dancing.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure rack and forth.
His jaw was literally dancing. It looked like his jaw was trying to break free after being wired shut. Have you ever seen those commercials where the guys have the exercise balls in their mouth trying to make their jaws look more muscular? Take the ball away, and that's what his mouth was doing.
I haven't seen those commercials, but
There's like a rubber ball that guys are putting in their mouth and then chewing on it.
Is this a sexual thing?
No, it's to make their sexual thing.
Because there is that rubber ball.
Oh, there is that rubber ball. Yeah, I don't think you put the anal beads back in your mouth. It's bad practice. Moving south, he had decided to wear the appropriate attire to this particular event. A white tank top. A white tank top with what looked to be strawberry margarita stains down the center of the shirt. I can imagine that strawberry margarita was running for its life after it saw how his jaw was chewing everything in sight. But the white t-shirt was nothing compared to the bright khaki slacks that he had obviously crumpled up, thrown in a duffel bag, only to be released to the world once he was actually ready to walk in the room. Thad had never met an iron or a steamer, and tonight was not going to be that night. Accompanying his extremely tight pants was a jet black alligator skin belt with a gold buckle.
Ooh,
and this was a good
fancy.
thing.
He dressed up for the occasion.
This was a good thing because the buckle distracted from the pants that were holding on for dear life around his butt. At any moment, those seams could split. You could almost hear the thread crying out for help. This is, I got a picture of who this guy is now.
Yeah. Very descriptive.
Lest you think he was a redneck, he actually did wear shoes. Patent leather white penny loafers hold the socks.
What?
Please.
Like the Clark Griswold?
What?
The Clark Griswolds from
Patent
Vacation,
white?
the original Vacation movie? I got something for you, Clark. I know you dry on mine.
I feel like I want to hire Frankie B to reenact this scene.
Yeah,
and
so
put it
Frankie
on
B would be
TCB.
perfect.
Oh my God. The first thing that he did once he entered the room was scan the table for signs of comfort. Once his eyes locked on a target, he yelled out in a crackling voice, "What's up, Mike?" Mike is the coke dealer that's been running around the wedding.
Yeah.
That's right. The coke dealing cousin, Mike, was back in the mix. Mike had a lady next to him, and that lady looked at him as if to say, "Do not even think about it." Mike turned his head and looked away, hoping that this nightmare would go away soon. But this was no nightmare. To me, it was a dream come true. Thad made a beeline for Mike, stood in between Mike and his lady, and bent over and said something to him. We couldn't hear what was said, but I imagine it went something along these lines.
I'm
out of blow.
Yeah,
Can I have
need
some more?
Exactly. You got a bump?
Mike leaned over to his lady and said some words and then excused himself from the table. The two of them exited out the back of the room and were gone. Oh, this is now we're getting juicy. As soon as they left the doors, a committee formed around the dance floor.
And it wasn't to do
it had nothing to do with the first dance. Yeah. The bride, the maid of honor, parents and grandparents, and children of all ages. It was clear they were making decisions. They were looking for escape routes. They were gathering emergency resources. A full-scale disaster was in progress. How would they handle it?
Oh my God, the writing is great on this.
As soon as they left those doors, as soon as those two left the doors, at one point you could see some of the people looking over toward us. The bride's father and apparently one of the friends started stepping in our direction.
Right, because they're like, she's related to him.
She's related.
That's her brother.
Now I got to get involved. Yeah, I should have never showed up. I should have cut my losses and hung out at the beach. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
I would have just said, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to make any more trouble. Neither is my family." I couldn't tell if they were angry with us or just looking for empathy, but either way, I did not want to get involved. The bride's father, once he reached the table, my wife's uncle, got down on one knee as if to beg for help. He asked my wife if there's any way she could go talk to Thad. Ask him to leave the party without further incident, and we would all forget this happened. They didn't want to.
Really.
They didn't want to have
Not
to.
really.
Not really. I mean,
Never forgetting this.
This is already. Yeah, no, this is a story you're not going to forget.
But for now,
people are telling their grandchildren this story.
It's Legends.
It's on the commercial break now. Think about that. 20 additional people are going to hear this. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to have to call security or the police, and they felt it was best coming from someone that was close to him. I think I laughed a little bit while I was throwing up in my mouth. After some additional commiserating, we decided I should go talk to Thad, as my wife felt she might make the situation worse. I didn't want to do this. Nothing about this was interesting to me. What is he saying here? What could I say?
They could make things better?
Excuse me.
Basically.
But I figured this was the least I could do since I was getting free food and drinks for the last 3 days. He wrote that a little funny. I'm paraphrasing there. As I mustered up the strength and gathered my thoughts, I decided I had no idea what I was doing. I had no clue what to say. I had no wisdom to impart. I gave it an 80-20 chance that I would have zero impact on anything this twat was about to do.
At that point, and if he got Mike and he's doing more coke, then definitely not.
We don't know what's going on with Mike. Yeah. Mike could be the savior here. Mike could say, hey, listen, dude, you got to go.
Mike got him into this situation. Mike
needs to get him out. That's right. Luckily, by the time I got to the door, Mike and Thad were already on the other side of it. Mike was pleading with my brother-in-law not to go back into the party.
Yeah.
He was saying all the things I probably should have been saying. Don't go in. You're not welcome here. It's best if you just go back to your hotel. Isn't there something else you should be doing tonight? I'll give you some more cocaine if you just go away. Seriously, that was one of the options Mike presented. But Thad had made up his mind, and he had other ideas.
He wanted to get down on the dance floor.
He thought it was best that he apologized to everyone, that he make amends for the bride.
Speech.
Clink, 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 clink.
With the microphone.
Does anybody have a guitar? I think I could probably do this better with a guitar. Does anybody have a guitar? You want to play some drums? Is there a microphone?
Yeah.
Tuesday, I'm going to start my own company.
Right. It's going
to change the world. Thad had other ideas. He felt he wanted to apologize to everybody. He wanted to make amends to the bride for causing such drama on her special day. And he wanted to explain to the maid of honor's husband that all this was just a misunderstanding. Things got weird and he shouldn't be blamed for his intoxicated actions. It could happen to anyone.
Right, you know.
My dick slipped in your wife's vagina. So sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a misunderstanding.
That's right. Thad was talking absolute nonsense. He was also talking at 3.5 million miles per hour. He was literally talking at the speed of sound. It was like one of those bad Netflix international voiceover movies. I could see his lips moving so fast, but the actual noises were far behind his vocal cords.
I'm picturing like the 2 times speed.
I know.
Podcast.
We're still funny at 2 times. I'll just let you know.
Oh,
that.
okay.
Once he took a breath, I had a chance, and I grabbed his arm gently. And in that moment, it came to me. I said exactly what I needed to say. It was like God was putting the right words in my mouth. I said, what do you say we go have a drink at the lobby bar?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
You and me, buddy.
This, unfortunately, did not help the situation. Thad got more irritated, more determined, more focused. I can do this, dude. I can do this. I just got to say a few words to the bride and everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to all be cool. Everyone's going to dance. Don't worry about it. It's a wedding. Everyone's happy. Super happy. Everyone's happy. Hey, Mike, you want to come with me to the bathroom for a second while I get my speech together? I'm going to apologize to everybody. Maybe I'll get a microphone. Maybe I'll change the word. I just had to tell you I was going to start a company on Tuesday. Do you have a guitar? I'm going to play Pink Floyd's The Wall. Have you ever heard The Wall? He then brushed me by and walked in the door. I followed just to see what was going to go down. I brushed by. He probably was like, I gotta get out of here. He brushed. I followed him just to see what was about to go down. I thought about getting my iPhone out, but I could see that other people in the room had already done so. I figured I could catch the replay on YouTube or maybe even Sports Center if it got good. He walked up directly to the bride and was instantly swarmed by a group of much weaker men. They weren't trying to physically assault him or wrangle him up. They were just ready for the action if something went down. Then, you also have to remember this is a wedding reception. There is music playing almost this entire time. So when Thad got to the bride,
Like Vanilla Ice.
yeah, who knows? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, or back streets back.
All right. Guess who's back again?
Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back.
That should have been what was playing.
So when Thad got to the bride, he appeared to say a few words to her. And then, to everyone's disbelief, he started to dance. He started to dance a weird hippie type of noodle. That type of things you see at the Dave Matthews Show. You know what I'm talking about, Brian. He looked like one of those weird air wiggles you see in front of the car dealership. Sped up like he was on fast forward. Oh my God. As he continued to dance, he opened up a circle on the dance floor. Even though no one was currently dancing, with his body movements, he pushed off the onlookers and other men. And then tried to get people out of their chair to join him.
Oh my God. This is hilarious.
There were no takers. Everyone was horrified. While this was going on the dance floor, the bride's father made a quick pass out the door, and as he blew by me, he said, "Hey, thanks a lot." And I think I mumbled, "No worries, friend." I mean, what do you say at that point? Thad was really heating up now. As a group of grown men stood in a circle around the dance floor trying to figure out how to wrangle this greasy gazelle, the song changed. The DJ was about to get in on the action. He was a comedian lying in wait, and he was about to drop his comedy chops.
What did he play? Oh my God, I'm dying.
As the current song wound down, the DJ mixed in the one song, the only song in the universe that this situation could have possibly called for. Staying Alive. Well, you can't tell by the way he moves my mind. He's a woman's man. No time to talk.
Yes.
That became a firework on the 4th of July. He literally started bouncing around the dance floor like John Travolta. Sweat flipping and flopping from his hair, his shirt slowly untucking itself from its alligator skin jail. All was right with the world, and I could not help but to smile and say to myself, "You go, Thad."
Well, right, because what was the thing in the last episode that we did where he goes, part of me was like, was mortified, but then the other part of me was like,
wow, you did it.
Good job.
You did it. Yeah, the last part of go back and listen to the episode, but the last part of the last paragraph in part 1 was like, as he busted through the door, part of me was mortified that he had decided to show up, and the other part of me said, "You do you, Thad." Yeah.
You do you.
While it was certainly under strenuous conditions, and no one would argue that my brother-in-law was winning any personality awards, he certainly was the star of the show. Thad was doing Thad, and who could fault him for that? What happened next is a sad blur of all side actions. All I can remember was a few beefy guys coming out from behind the band riser and tackling Thad to the floor. This was followed by some screaming and yelling and an additional 2 men coming to physically remove him from the banquet hall.
Oh, God, I feel so bad for the bride.
Oh, man. As he was being removed, he kept saying loudly, "Now it's a crime to party."
Wasn't he screaming out, "We're 2 consenting adults" in the last
when he got
episode?
caught fucking the bridemaid, he said, "We're 2 consenting adults. I don't understand." Apparently it was a crime, and he was arrested and booked for the night on charges of disorderly conduct and trespassing. The rest of the night was kind of lame, actually. After all the commotion settled down, it was just kind of hard to get our adrenaline levels up and going. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. I got you something from Bed Bath & Beyond.
I hope you like it. Sorry about your sad times.
Sorry about the John Travolta impersonator. The rest of the night was kind of sad. After all the commotion settled down, it was just kind of hard to get our adrenaline levels up and going. A lot of people left early. Most people never got on the dance floor, and the bride spent most of the evening crying in her new husband's lap. As for me and my wife, we apologized to the bride on behalf of our family.
We went and got hammered at the
that's
hotel down the street and then left the next morning early.
Immediately.
Right.
That's what I would have done. I would not have even stayed to watch. I would have been like, honey, now. I don't care if he's your brother, now.
We're leaving and we're getting hammered at the bar next.
That's right. As for me and my wife, we apologized to the bride on behalf of the family. We sat quietly, stunned by the events of the weekend, finished off a number of drinks, and then went upstairs to have a long, hard laugh at what happened. We didn't even bother telling Thad's wife what was going on at the time. He was safe for the night, and that made everybody sleep a little easier. I guess I don't need to tell you what happens next. Thad's wife filed for divorce almost immediately after the trip. We heard through the grapevine that the other couple involved also got a divorce.
The bridesmaid.
And the bridesmaid. And the bride and the groom did not last long either.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad way to start. There's only so far you can go with, well, that's good luck if it rains.
Good luck to you, sir.
If it rains, it's good luck. But it's not good luck if all of that goes
It's
down.
good luck if it rains, but if that rain is cocaine, then it's probably not going to do you very much.
It'll start you off right.
I'm not sure we can chalk that one up to Thad's behavior, but why not? Who's counting? I'm happy to answer any follow-up questions you might have. Okay, well, we'll make a list.
Yeah.
But my question to you is this. It's been a few years now. Remember, he was asking for advice at the beginning of this 13-page story. So
yes.
My question to you is this. It's been a few years now, and I know this evening was super tough for my wife. But she won't even talk to her brother. She won't return his text messages and won't return his phone calls. I have actually snuck out a few times to have a beer or two with him because I feel bad for the guy. Yeah, I know. You
Don't
can't
go have alcohol with the.
Yeah, you got to get him into a rehab, dude.
Or therapy.
Listen, this
family therapy.
Family therapy. Like,
he needs individual therapy, then also I think you need family therapy.
I think he needs 90 days in one of those really shitty rehab facilities where they actually take sobriety seriously.
Not on TLC.
No, not on TLC. Yeah, not with Dr. Drew. He needs to go somewhere real.
Yeah.
I have snuck out a few times to have a beer with him. I feel bad for the guy. He's lonely and his family has disowned him, and I think he's in genuine need of some love and attention. How would you handle this? What would you do? Best to y'all. Okay, what an amazing story, first of all. And if half of that is true, it's probably the best wedding story ever.
On one part of it, it's amazingly funny. On the other half of it, it's amazingly
really
sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. But we're going to take it as funny because that's what we do here. And I'm going to tell you this. I'll give you a little piece of advice. Don't sneak out to go see your fucking brother-in-law. If your wife finds out, she is going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Because you have to stick by your wife.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. When there's a family argument.
Don't stick with the alligator belt.
No, don't stick with alligator belt. He wore white penny loafers with no fucking socks.
Don't go to that side.
Yeah, the guy showed up to a party after 72 hours of fucking blowing rails and drinking Jack Daniels and fucking the bridesmaid on the beach where everybody could see.
Yeah.
This guy is no good. His decision making is awful, and yours is too, quite frankly, my friend, because when there is when your wife gets in an argument with her family, you had better agree with her.
Yes.
You better agree with her.
Gotta take that
Doesn't
side.
matter if you agree with her. You agree with her.
Gotta take
That's
that
it.
side.
Of course you do. Because then your wife starts to feel like she can't trust you with her real emotions and her feelings. And if she finds out that you're going to see Thad behind her back, I'm telling you, there's going to be a fourth divorce in the mix, and it's going to be yours.
I agree.
I understand it's been years and she's pissed off, but Thad...
I would set up a family therapy session. So we need to actually talk through this. And is Thad still partying? I guess he is.
He's still drinking. I mean, I'm making the assumption. That's our first question.
Yeah.
Is Thad still partying like he was before?
Does he have a stable job? Is he a stable person? Or is he kind of
He's not a
just
stable person. Is he a stable person?
I mean, he wasn't a stable person for that weekend.
Well, he also told us at the beginning of this that Thad was kind of a walking time bomb, right? That he was always all over the place telling everybody how wonderful he was.
Some family therapy.
Here's my opinion about this, is that Thad Yes, it's been years, but Thad created an ultimate disaster, and there was real-life consequences. Divorces happened, people's weddings got ruined, and no one will ever forget the story. So while it's hilarious, money was spent and lost. lost. That's right.
Of course.
Yeah, and, there's hotels that you guys probably can't show up at anymore because of this guy.
Yeah.
So there are real-world consequences to this, and while I believe everybody...
They're on the do not stay list.
That's
not
correct.
The do not fly list, but the do not stay list.
Everybody deserves a second chance, no matter what they do.
Absolutely.
I truly believe this. But you have to let your sister make that inroads, or let your wife make that inroads with her brother, because it's not your responsibility to do so.
And was this the second time? Like, was this his first time doing this?
No, fuck no.
Exactly.
This guy knew exactly what he was going to do. He said it the whole time.
We're probably going to be. This was probably like a fourth chance, fifth chance thing.
Oh, this is like the 300th chance I can imagine.
I agree,
with that.
and especially when it comes to family, you always want to give other chances.
Yeah.
But there needs to be some serious therapy.
There needs to be a person leading the charge to build the relationship between your wife and Thad, and that needs to be your wife.
Where are their parents?
I don't know.
Their parents may need to step
when
in.
he says he's disowned from the family, right? I imagine this has to do with just more than because you got to remember the bride's father, who came to ask them to go settle Thad down, was her uncle. It's her fucking uncle. So that's her parents, brothers or sisters. This is too close to home. In deep. You told a fantastic story, but stop going to have beers with that. If you want to, sit down with your wife in a moment of clarity and calmness. Sit down and say, honey, can we have a serious conversation about Thad? Because I know he fucked up, but he probably needs some love and attention. He just went through a tough divorce, and even though it was his fault, everybody hurts. And I do have to say this, and I say this with all seriousness. Please continue to monitor his behavior. And when he does something else stupid, write us another letter. Because you did a fucking fantastic job. Yeah. So at first it was Pete, and now it's you, my friend. You took the reins. You got it. That's the best story we've heard.
The ante has been up.
The ante has been up. And I have a queue full of these stories now, thanks to...
I love it.
I think Will the Champ wrote
Another thing we were thinking about doing was maybe doing Ask... these stories. We're going to do that maybe another day of the week.
So what we'd like to... Yeah, so, I mean, we say this all the time, and we'll say it again here at the closing of the show. Ask TCB, ask Uncle Bryan, or Tales of TCB. In other words, the story of TCB. If you have an interesting story of any type that you think might be funny for the show, write it down, make it good, and we'll talk about it here on air. And so maybe throughout the summer, we'll throw these in. Now that we don't have Frankie B., we need your stories to fill the air.
Yes.
And actually, I like them. I like reading all these stories.
Really
I think it's really funny. There's a couple other ones in the queue that are really funny. So maybe we'll do another one next week. We'll give it a break for a minute.
Yep.
We'll do another one next week. Be on the lookout for BTY Fridays starting this summer.
Best of
Yo Fridays. Starting soon, lasting through the summer. And if you have any ideas, you have any episode ideas you want us to throw out there, we'd be happy to do it. 661-237-8296. That's 661, the word best, the number 2, YO. 661 best yo. At the commercial break on Instagram, be one of the first people to follow us on that stupid fucking Instagram page. I can't fucking stand it. Drives me crazy. And youtube.com/the commercial break. Now there's some people are following us.
Our video editor is killing her.
Oh my God, she is wonderful. Morgan is amazing.
It's really funny.
Yeah, you gotta go.
At least go check out one, and then
there's a third person in the room with us right now. Her name is Morgan. She's our video editor and production, and a director of production. Hi, Morgan. And she is adding some real hilarity to these videos, really so you got to go watch them. We're a couple episodes behind, but we'll catch up soon. But it doesn't matter. Go listen to it and watch it again. It's a whole nother episode when you watch it. It's fucking hilarious.
Experience.
Yep. And and then questions, comments, concerns, content ideas, go to the website, tcbpodcast.com. Send those ideas through the website if you'd like to. Okay, well, listen.
Woo.
Wow. A two-parter, 2 episodes. I feel like I went to the wedding.
I know. It was so descriptive. I loved it.
So I guess that's all I can do today, Krissy.
I think so, Bryan.
I love you.
I love you.
Best to you.
Best to you.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. Until next time, Krissy and I always say, we do say, we will say, we must say, bye.
Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, Bibi is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough? Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, Bibi is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?